Hey y'all, I'm Willow, and welcome to my field. Here, you'll find all sorts of literary plants growing, from typical text stories to fantastical narrations and mixed media grotesqueries. Today, I have something old for y'all. Casualty of History, published by In Magazine, Issue 4, Volume 6, 2021, was my first piece of published flash fiction, and upon its initial release, I started the production of today's multimedia display. After months of collecting dust on the proverbial shelf, it's finished and ready for consumption. Please enjoy, and remember, the rest of my stories can be found on all the various social medias at willows_field. Thank you. Casualty of History by Willow J. Fields. Narrated and produced by the author. The first thing to be heard is a flat, clattering noise. After a muffled curse and a moment of rustling, the sound clears. A distant, thunderous roar fills the void, getting louder by the second. After several heavy breaths, a raspy, numb voice begins to speak. Shit. Is it on? Yeah. Okay. So, I was sitting at my desk. It was dark outside, not quite night, like a twilight, purple black. The horizon was outlined by the twinkling lights of the Capitol. I had been looking out at the little glowing dots from behind my open window while sitting at my desk. I remember the smell of the breeze, like grass, gas, and cigarettes. It was a peaceful night. I had spent it alone, working on papers for my college history course and drinking iced tea out of my favorite red mug. I had had a record playing in the background, The Doors, waiting for the sun. Fucking ironic. I was vacantly scanning the horizon, sipping my tea, when I first saw it. But well, of course, in the moment, I didn't think of what it actually could be. The lights of a distant plane, flying far, far above the Capitol, had passed slowly in, then out of my window frame's perspective of the world abroad. As I had watched the aircraft's blinking lights disappear, the Doors album shifted to the next track. Thinking back on it, I swear that I saw a small, shiny object falling from behind that past plane. I should have realized what it was, but then again, who am I kidding? I had been drinking my iced tea when it happened. Out my window, a fire had blossomed on the horizon. A brilliant, blinding light enveloped the entire twilight sky as if God had hit the light switch. I must have instinctually covered my eyes because as the awesome white
radiance, really, as if the sun had been composed of 1 billion neon bulbs. As it had subsided, I could still see. I saw the pillar. No, it was a wall of violent, coiling fire that rose from where the Capitol had been. It had all looked shapeless at first, but as I watched, the inferno had risen more, domed in shape, and slowly formed into the stalked mushroom cloud of fuck. Well, you know, a nuke. I froze at the sight. Through the ringing in my ears, I could hear a chorus of screams echoing from the neighboring apartments. I am numb to everything around me. I had felt a warm fluid crawl out my nose and ears then. It's blood. The trees near my home had swayed violently as the invisible wall of heat and radiation had swept up the hills surrounding the Capitol. When the shockwave had hit my building, my window pane caked with soot instantly. My open window hadn't had the screen in it. I'd taken it out earlier to allow more airflow. It's all flowing now. Sat at my desk, all I could do then was close my eyes and endure the vicious blast of broiling heat and ash. Is this pain the last feeling I'll feel? The roasting wind had subsided for a moment. I think then that I tried to take a sip from my mug. It had been empty. In some other millennium of my shocked stupor, I had noticed that the mushroomed inferno had grown. I can distantly remember watching the wall of fire, watching as it had pushed up the hill, consuming the houses and trees, the animals and people in its way. I don't care who dropped the bomb. Honestly, for the last minute since it's gone off, I haven't really thought of anyone but myself. My own death. Although, I remember thinking of my family at some point. I do hope they are all right. I hope that they weren't bombed. As I had watched the all-consuming fire rush towards me, my ears, for some reason, had decided to focus on the Doors song in the background.
Sun, 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 burn, burn, burn.
Is it possible my record had known this was coming? But then again, how could it? How could anyone? In the moment, I remember laughing at the song lyrics, at the distant explosion rushing closer. The roaring wave of smoke and heat hit my building.
Soon, soon, soon.
The Doors confirmed. The second shockwave smashed my window, sending the fragments skittering across my desk. The scalding air that came pouring through my window is making my skin feel really tight. I think my eyebrows are gone. I don't know how far behind the fire is now. I am now on the floor, curled up under my desk as I speak to whoever is listening through an app on my phone. Please let there be someone listening. Let this one thing of mine survive. You know, I wish I had another cup of iced tea. If this is the end, my throat is so dry. The explosion is getting louder, closer. My vinyl player has died. So have all the lights. I had so much I thought I could still do with my life. I just wanted to study history, not be a casualty in it. Oh, fuck. As the raspy voice suddenly is cut off by a clattering, crunching noise, the thunderous, ever-present roaring sound shoulders its way to the foreground and blots out all else. The roaring continues for a few beats before something seems to muffle the source, and with a staticky pop, everything goes quiet. Several seconds later, an automated voice disturbs the silence. Recording concluded. Found on June 6th, 2024 by the United States Nuclear Response and Containment Program. Redacted and transcribed by the Office of Deputy Director Edgar Joseph Berea. The end. This has been Casualty of History, a short story by Willow J. Fields, narrated and produced by the author. A Willow's Field production. This story was originally published in print by In Parentheses magazine. If you would like to read this story in a physical or digital copy, please visit inparentheses.art. Thank you for listening.